Hi, this is David Williams. I'm hanging out with Ed Dudley this morning. Good morning, Ed.
Good morning, David. How are you today?
Fine, thank you. This is our first time kind of hanging out together and
It
talking. It
is.
was nice of a mutual connection to hook us up on LinkedIn. Well, I think it was through LinkedIn messaging, I
Through
believe.
LinkedIn, yes.
Yeah, so I love LinkedIn for what it does compared to some of the other social platforms from the business side. But before we dive in, just tell me a little bit about who you are and what you do, and then at the end, you can dive in with your websites and that type of stuff for people to connect with you even better.
Well, like I said, my name is Ed Dudley, and I'm in the business of elevating people. And when I tell people that, they look at me, it's like, well, what does that mean? So there's three phases of elevating people that I refer to. The first phase is I'm in the financial services industry. I have my own financial services practice, so I help elevate people with their finances. Second thing that I do, my wife and I have co-founded a nonprofit called Shining Light in Darkness that focuses on sexual assault and domestic violence. So we help people elevate out of trauma that they've experienced. And the last one, which is the most fun to me, is I help shine a spotlight on small business owners and entrepreneurs through connections of my networking group called We Are Connect Ed.
Wow, so you got a lot of stuff going on,
Yeah,
and
it's fun.
the middle one there, the domestic violence. Our oldest daughter, who is 29 now, she had some experience with that several years ago, and so we've been on that side of things.
Wow.
So it was interesting that you throw that in the mix, because I didn't realize, to be quite honest with you, I didn't do my due diligence and diving in and like, let me go through and really look at who he is. And part of that is because of trust of the person who connected us, right?
Right.
There's a certain level of, okay, this person is saying you two need to connect. And so you just kind of trust that person and don't dive in to, that's the way I did it. I figured, hey, I'll learn about Ed when we jump on the call.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about, you covered a few things. And so rather than talk about every one of them, because what we may do is we may have a future call where we dive into a segment we don't dive in today.
Okay.
So obviously, all of those I'm sure you're passionate about. It sounds like you're passionate about. The one, although I've had some experience with my oldest daughter on the domestic violence, the one that I'd like for you to dive into is the connection part. So the third one
Yeah.
that you said about elevating people, that kind of, not that the other two won't apply. And I'd love, like I said, actually Tracy Phillips, who we're doing,
Love
I'm
Tracy, yes.
featuring her with her book. We've already done one of these calls, but then we're going to have a call next week talking about her book. So maybe you and I could come back, because those other topics are definitely important. But talk to me today about elevating people through connections and how you make those connections. And if it makes sense as you're talking, go ahead and say, hey, here's the website to find that, and here's how I operate.
Right. So I started a networking group called We Are Connect Ed, with a play on my name, in 2018. Then I was able to connect with somebody at Microsoft, and it quickly grew. So it's called We Are Connected with Microsoft as our flagship program, where we were meeting every first and third Thursdays at the Microsoft store in Durham, and we've actually gone virtual now. But what it has done is created a platform for small business owners and entrepreneurs to come together and network. And we would always bring a speaker to speak to the group on various subjects. We have a lot of branding people come through, marketing, sales professionals, business coaches. But the best part is just connecting with people. Some people are into the numbers. They want to have 60, 70 people there. But I love a small, intimate group, because you can dive a little bit deeper and make a better connection with them. But what started here in the Durham area started spreading like wildfire. So in January, we launched We Are Connected with Microsoft in Charlotte, North Carolina, Dallas, Texas, New Orleans. In March, we launched in Tampa. Where are we going? We are launching in Atlanta, Orlando, Bethesda, Maryland, and we will make an announcement very shortly about Arlington, Virginia. So,
oh, wow.
Just trying to connect business owners all across the place, and it's just been fun. I've met some amazing people, but more importantly, I've made a lot of friends along the way. So it's been fun connecting people, it's the connection that connected us together. I enjoy doing that. I found that passion in this second phase of my life. I spent a lot of time in corporate America and went into the entrepreneur field. about 2017, and it's been a crazy ride.
Oh, wow. So you've only got, you got 3 years of the entrepreneur stuff.
Yeah. So
So
it's been a
yeah.
roller coaster.
Oh yeah. And it's interesting you say that, because entrepreneurship, I think, is a roller coaster
Yeah.
ride. I had Martin Brossman on one of these, and that's kind of what he talked about. And I commented on somebody's LinkedIn post yesterday about it's a great adventure and a roller coaster ride.
It's so funny, I don't do the roller coasters anymore. I'm a little too old. They drive me nuts.
Yep. Yep.
But you remember going on the roller coaster, that excitement, like, yay! And you
Yep.
get to the top, and you're like, oh my God, this drop.
Yep.
And that's how it feels some days. And some people just don't understand. There's no 40-hour week.
No, there isn't, and there's no, the way that I operate, and and people can say, well, you're a photographer, so obviously you must have a 9 to 5 Monday through Friday. Well, I'm an entrepreneur that
Exactly.
pretty much is responsive to whatever's going on in my world 24/7 almost, so I start days at dark most every day, and I get a lot of stuff done before the sun even comes up. And
Yeah.
so I get that, that's interesting. I didn't realize that as well. So the 3 years, I'm sure it's also been a blur. Right. It's like, it doesn't seem like it's been 3 years. And I think the roller coaster ride is what makes entrepreneurship kind of fun, and is
Yeah.
definitely not for everybody. Let's talk specifically about how you make some of those connections. Obviously, you've got the face-to-face stuff. Do you have a LinkedIn group or a Facebook group or anything like that? Or, because I don't know the answer to that question. And because I'm
Yes.
curious of how much of it you interact with online, or you guys just meet face to face, and then obviously you take it from there and everybody starts connecting with each other through LinkedIn or whatever they, may choose at that point.
So like most everyone else, we've had to pivot and go online. Initially with our group, I was hesitant going online because everybody was online, and I didn't want to be a part of the noise.
Right.
Every time you turn on, here's a Zoom call here, here's a Zoom call here, there's this.
Yeah.
We happen to use Microsoft Teams because of our collaboration with Microsoft, but I was hesitant, but a lot of people kept asking me, when are you going to go virtual? When are you going to go start doing the events virtual? So we started launching the virtual events in the different chapters across the country. But most of my networking these days is over LinkedIn. I do a little on Facebook, a little on Instagram, but mostly heavy. I want to say 90% of it's on LinkedIn. I was fortunate to speak to someone in Australia via LinkedIn, and we got on and did a video chat, and spoke with somebody from Mexico and did a video chat, which is always fun to do. But we do have a Facebook page, Instagram page, and LinkedIn, and it's called We Are Connect-Ed. And there you can find out what we're doing, what we got going on. We do a lot more than just the networking group. We do something where we started just, reaching out to some of our healthcare workers and going and stopping by and, once a week and dropping off coffee and pastries just to say thank you. Last year, we did a backpack drive with Advanced Care, where we gave away about over 500 backpacks. And Microsoft came out, brought a bunch of gaming units for the kids, so we did it on their back to school day. So we're more than a network group. We're all about community, all about bringing people together, and we're just having fun.
Well, that's very cool that, you share some of the extra stuff you're doing, because when you say more than a network group, sounds like you guys have got some stuff going on giving back, and then I know there are other network groups out there that give back as well, but there are also some that are just purely, doing their thing. They're trying to help each other, but they may not have the additional add-ons for that. And there's still some good, obviously, that comes out of those as well. It's interesting, you mentioned LinkedIn as the platform, and being an entrepreneur and in the business world. I think a lot of times people may overlook the power of LinkedIn.
Yeah.
And what you can do in building the relationships. And then again, going back to the connection that you and I have, the person doing an introduction and introducing you and I, and then this is our first time chatting together. But I feel like, hey, Ed's somebody that I would like to talk with again. I'd like to meet you face to face. I mean, we've never met face to face, but the beauty of virtual is we can have this conversation. And then obviously, unless you're going to fly to Mexico and sit down with somebody, which wouldn't be bad, right? It makes it nice to be able to have the virtual connections. Australia is even, a farther stretch with what it would take to get there. So the virtual world definitely makes a difference, and you can feel like you know somebody and get to know somebody, virtually like this. Obviously, you said the face-to-face meetings are when were those again? Normally, obviously, we're going through some difficult times at the moment, but the face-to-face meetings are normally when?
Yeah, so we normally met every first and third Thursdays.
Okay.
At the Microsoft store in Durham, which is over at South Point Mall. I love the face-to-face interaction. I feed off the energy that you can get from a new connection or an old friend that you haven't seen in a while. So we actually miss those. And we talk about the video chats. They are fun. I'd rather do a video chat these days than a phone call.
Oh, yeah, I had as well. I mean, you can easily, the other thing is whether you're on speakerphone or whatever, I don't know, there's just something cool about this that you can definitely talk a little bit longer, obviously, than on the phone. And so I think it's awesome that we're able to do this together. Let's talk about, one of the things that you said early on that I think is important to mention is you said some people are all about the numbers. And I think where people miss it in a lot of things is about the numbers. Well, I don't have as many followers as my friend has, or this person's really killing it and they got more followers than me. It's numbers are kind of nice. I won't deny that. Yeah, it would be cool to have 1 million followers type of thing. But at the end of the day, the relationships, what's it leading to? Is it making a difference in your life and the lives of others? And I think that's important. So, when we talk about the numbers, there are, some networking venues out there that are really, large, and it's kind of hard to get to know somebody. So I'm kind of with you. I like the more small, intimate stuff because you can get into things a little bit more. There's nothing wrong with going to something on a larger scale from time to time, but I think it's, I like the fact that you shared that, it's not all about the numbers. It sounds like it's more about the relationship and building those connections. And you can do that better in a small group than something
it's more intimate.
500 people.
It's more intimate. I've been to several large networking events. They're fun, but you can't really get to network with everybody there. It's impossible. We're in a small setting, you get a chance to touch a little bit everywhere. It's like a bee pollinating.
Right.
Flower, which is fun. But I still go to a lot of the big networking events because you just never know when you're going to find that one connection that's just going to be very beneficial to you, either personally or professionally.
So as we kind of like wind down and wrap up a little bit, we're still going to spend a few more minutes together, but what I'd like for you to speak to in these final moments is being an entrepreneur for 3 years and coming from the corporate world. Talk about some of your highs and lows during that. Maybe some people can pick up like some of your successes. Hey, when I did this, I posted this on LinkedIn and it just went like wildfire. I'm just making it up, obviously. But if there's some moments that you had, this is awesome. And there might have been a moment or two, it wouldn't surprise me I think I'm going to go back to corporate America.
Oh, yeah. Yes, absolutely. So, I remember just, with my wife, and we were just in our room and just talking. I said, I can't do this anymore. I was like, I'm tired. I'm like, I'm going to go back to corporate America with that perceived safety net.
Right.
Getting that weekly check and, having your vacations. Because I left, corporate America as a senior vice president working for a couple of financial institutions. And I'm like, oh, I'm going back. I'm like, I can't do this anymore. And she just looked at me and was like, why are you quitting? She said, and it was like, cold water being thrown in my face. And I'm
right.
Like, okay, all right. I'm like, all right, I can do this. The high though, for me was really just the amount of people that have come. I've been in North Carolina for 3 years.
Oh, wow. So not only the entrepreneurship, but 3 years in North Carolina, 3 years entrepreneurship.
The amount of amazing people that I've come across that have been willing to collaborate, like-minded, lend a helping hand, give advice, insights, recommendations. That for me has been the high. There's a community of business owners there that will wrap their arms around you and help you succeed, that want to see you succeed. There's no competition. And these are the people that, I brace my network up into 3 sections. I call them my A, B, and C network. My C network are my consumers. And these are people that just want to take. They want to take your resources, your time, and your energy. My B are my builders. And I look at you as a builder. We just met, but we're trying to figure out a way to build a mutually beneficial relationship. My A are my advocates. These are the people that scream Ed Dudley if he's not even in the room. And these are the people that have embraced me since I've been in North Carolina. The gentleman that introduced us, he's one of my advocates. I don't even have to be around, but I know he's cheerleading me, and I try to be advocates for individuals out there as well.
That's cool. I love that ABC breakdown. I mean, I think that's a great way to kind of, wind this thing down a little bit. And I'm glad that you shared, what you shared in that piece. I do want to speak very briefly before I have you share your website and some of that other information to your point about the quitting and the perceived, security. But first of all, my wife and I, we've been married in July, it'll be 31 years. So when we met in 1988, she said, "What do you do?" I said, "I'm a photographer." Obviously, I was a lot younger then. And she's like, "A photographer," and I showed her my business checkbook that I think at the time I was operating under David Williams Photography or something. I'm like, "Yeah, you can see I'm legit," but we've worked together and been through a lot together. I got out of the industry for a while. I've been back into it for years. But my point is my number one advocate, and sounds like yours as well. My wife is going to say, "Why are you quitting?"
Yeah.
So I've got that, and we don't want to disappoint our wives, right? So it's like, that's a good point, because I've felt like giving up at times as well, because it's, entrepreneurship is that roller coaster ride. And so when that roller coaster is going up and down and twisting and turning, man, it can be real easy to say, "Why am I doing this? Got to find something else." But not quitting. I think that's the true strength of entrepreneurs and entrepreneurship in general, is not throwing in the towel, right? As soon as something happens. And the part that you said that I want to end on, is about those connections and having that network of people. So this all ties back in as we close it out, about you talking about networking and LinkedIn and meeting people face to face. You said something very key in there about people that will wrap their arms around you, that will share with you, that will support you, that will encourage you. And then your advocates on your ABC list that are going to shout Ed Dudley, whether you're in the room or not. Some great information. It's been awesome chatting with you. So I want to open up the door now to give us your website, tell people how to find you on LinkedIn, whatever you'd like to share about people connecting with you. Because I hope they've heard something in your voice, in what you've shared, in the things. Maybe they want to come out if they're local to the Raleigh-Durham area and, check out the networking group. So go ahead and go for it. Close out with, some information so people know how to reach you.
Well, great. So you can find me on LinkedIn under Edward Dudley. And if you go to our website, though, our website for our networking group is weareconnect-ed.com. You can find out what we're doing. You can find out what some of the events that are coming out. You can see some of the local chapters. The good thing is that we're virtual now. So, you might see something going on in our New Orleans chapter. Next week, they're going to have somebody talking about how to publish a book. Today in Charlotte, we have someone talking about a digital business card. So just check us out. There's two things on our website that we're a little bit different. We actually offer, partner with a couple organizations, offer healthcare. Telemedicine is a big thing. So we partner with RelyMD, which is a Wake Med company that offers telemedicine. And we'll be making another announcement tomorrow about another partnership that we made. So I'd love to connect with you. I tell everyone I live my life by this one simple phrase: given it shall be given unto you. And,
press down and check. I can
run it over
a bit further, right? I know where that comes from. So, but Ed, it's been a pleasure talking with you. Have a fantastic day.
You too as well.